Good morning. It's Vijay here. Today is 3rd October 2024, a Thursday, the day of settlement for the Nifty weekly futures. So, lots of things happened in the last 2 days. Ironically, yesterday was on the day of Mahatma Gandhi's birthday, an apostle of non-violence. We had violence coming in just a day prior on the Iranian-Israeli front. This was what I was fearing, and that seems to have right. So as we go into today, we have to look at what is the biggest risk. The biggest risk I've been mentioning, what I call the black swan, is the flaring up of violence in the Middle East, especially between Iran and Israel. Israel has been fighting the Hamas or the Hezbollah, but they are very small change when compared to what Iran is. Iran is a much larger country, got a much larger army, a larger population, and it is a country which is got a lot of oil. So there are many things going for Iran. If Iran gets dragged into the conflict, then there is a big risk to the equity markets. So this is my black swan theory. So that seems to have been caught on by Chris Wood, who talks of, this is the biggest geopolitics, is the biggest risk to Indian market and to markets itself. And if you really look at a typical investor who's going into the market today, especially in India, he's probably looking at the last the chart having now taken his blood, especially the bullish investor. So, what has happened in the past, we will come back to it a little later. But definitely, this is something which is worrying me at least. In the recent JP Morgan conference, all the analysts of JP Morgan were uber bullish. So much so, one analyst said India probably will top out only when it is Nifty goes to close to 40,000, between 36 and 40,000, because he expects the P ratio to be around that levels when it actually tops out. Now that looks far fetched by today's standards, but whatever it may be, the head of JP Morgan was very cautious. He said geopolitics is the major concern. I think people who have seen the markets, who know geopolitics, should understand that this is one big concern. Apart from that, there is always blue skies all around. Incidentally, I was expecting that SEBI will come out with draft guidelines on Monday, which they did. And I also mentioned that they will not do anything to spoil the sanctity of the market, which they have been very careful and they have avoided that. So the SEBI guidelines are actually very good for the market, for the good for the health of the market. So before that, let's see what happened on Tuesday. Nifty closed flat, but it was very volatile. And interestingly, the other indices did very well. Nifty and Bank Nifty struggled. So mid cap closed higher. Small caps, which were down by about 5 sessions, they closed higher. Nifty IT was up. Metal, of course, kept on going up because the China and Hong Kong markets were up. Then Nifty Auto also closed in the green. Nifty Energy declined surprisingly, dragged by ONGC and Indian Oil. Indian Oil's rights issue has been cancelled, so that could be the reason. FMCG declined primarily, I suspect, because the outlook is not that great for this quarter. So I expect HUL, Dabur, ITC, and all not to report great results. Dabur came back after the markets and said that they are not doing too well. They have not done too well in the last quarter. So Nifty Bank, of course, declined. Nifty Bank is the weakest big index. So whenever you are in doubt, people will sell HDFC Bank, and that's what they did. They also IndusInd Bank also joined, which was a very surprising thing for me. Incidentally, we hold IndusInd Bank. Nifty Realty declined for 3 days in this one succession. So this is probably why it happened. FIs sold in a concentrated way in the index stocks, so about close to 6,000, 5,600 crores. Of course, DIS bought. Probably they bought in the mid cap and small cap. So what happened on the SEBI front? They have tightened F&O rules, which is very good, and all these rules are coming effective starting November 20th. And they have talked of derivative contracts valued to be not less than 15 lakhs. Please note that this is only for index derivatives and not for stocks. So people who are doing stock futures need not have to worry. So in stocks in F&O need not have to worry, and only the index is the issue. So they're talking of upfront collection of option premium effective February 2025. Actually, most brokers already collected, so this may affect a very few set of brokers. They also talked of weekly options contracts limited to one per exchange. I think this is the best thing they could have done. So it will eliminate all this mid cap and other rubbish, speculation. So I think previously we had no weekly settlement till 2016. They introduced Bank Nifty weekly settlement, which was not popular. Only when they introduced Nifty settlement, then the weekly settlement became popular, and then the exchanges became greedy. The regulator became greedy, and then they introduced mid cap weekly settlement, the financial services weekly settlement, bank index weekly settlement in the Bombay Stock Exchange. So I think most probably it will be only Nifty and Sensex which will be on weeklies. All the others will get. I suspect they will not exist anymore. This is what I think will happen. So this will happen on from November 20th, and then they are looking for additional 2% margin. Previously, the discussion paper talked of a 3% margin. So to that extent, this is less of a bad news. But this is for the ODTE, that zero DTE, which means I think a lot of speculation was going on in those contracts. So what happened to global equities because of the Iran bombing of the Israel sites? There were 200 bombs, and the strange part is not a single Israeli was killed. So what Iran did, which was in my opinion wrong, was that they restarted this problem, and they've been very careful not to hurt any of the Israelis, just to show that they have the power. But you never know. Israel is ruled by madmen, and they may go behind Iran, which right now looks a little will be a delayed action, I suspect, because they already are fighting with the Hezbollah, and they've already entered Lebanon. The ground troops have entered, so therefore the concentration, in my opinion, will be on Lebanon. They have finished off with Palestine. Hamas is finished. Now Hezbollah is almost finished. So now they will close out Lebanon. And once that is over, then I think probably it will go to Iran. I only hope that they don't do it, because then, we don't know exactly how this will end up. Because as I said, Iran is a very big country, very powerful country, suspected to have nuclear bombs, but I doubt they have. Basically, people who know Iran's nuclear program know that they don't have it. But whatever it is, they have a large army, and it's the largest country there in the region, which is got embroiled into this problem. Dow Jones, on that day it fell, but yesterday a lot of nervousness, but finally Dow Jones closed flat, S&P closed flat, Nasdaq slightly on the high, and FTSE, DAX, and DAX was very good in the morning, but then that has come down. So commodities did nothing. In fact, commodities went up on that day. From it was hovering at 70 to 75, and then now it is about 74.67 for the Brent. Gold has been slightly weaker, whereas silver has been stronger. The 10% which is indicated is wrong, but anyway, silver is stronger, which is very unusual. Normally, gold is stronger than silver. So maybe crossing over $32 looks like that this could be the long-awaited breakout for above $33 for silver. If it happens, then it will be a mad rush, is what I suspect. So what do we have? The cues. HUL, Dabur will probably be the ones which will be under. No, this is, I think, this is what happened. This one. Anyway, what is an interesting thing was that globally, all the central bankers are looking for reducing interest rates. There are only three countries which have not reduced or increased rates. One is Australia, which has not been able to reduce interest rates. India has not reduced interest rates, and Japan had increased interest rates and created havoc in August. And Japanese markets fell the other day because the new prime minister, Mr. Ishiba, is a inflation hawk, which meant that he was wanting interest rates to be increased. But you see, what has happened is the prime minister got so panicky that he met the governor there, Bank of Japan governor, and said we should not raise rates. Why? This is because I think it's a political decision, because he goes in for elections end of this month. So I think from Japan, the problem will not be there. China is on holiday. China will be volatile because Hong Kong has gone up vertically. One more sobering thought here is GST collection data has not been that great, though it's about 6.5% over last year, but it has not been it has not been something which one can feel, positive about it. So that is as far as GST is concerned. Then if you look at I'll just tell you what happened to, if you, this is, we will go to, okay, no, not this. Yeah. So here we are. Yeah, if you look at Nifty came down on that day. But if you go back and see what happened the last time, that is what I wanted to show. If you go and see the last time when the Iran bombed Israel, the Nifty actually fell 1,000 points from here. This was on 12th April night. So prior to that, there was some nervousness. So it fell 1,000 points over the next 4 days. But also remember that we had the election in the offing, and it quickly recovered to the place where it went, and then it went on up. So if you really look at where we are today vis-a-vis what happened on that day, it looks like a blip. So I assume that today Gift Nifty is talking of a 200-point drop, which I doubt. I think it will get bought in the morning because there is no such bad news. This one. So if you look at, I was talking about yesterday. I mentioned that the this oil, and this is Nikkei. Nikkei, you see, it dropped immediately after the new prime minister was announced, and then it was volatile. Now it has gone up about 850 points. The previous day, yesterday, it had fallen 850 points. It's recovered entirely. So I think that will be the way to go. Look at Hang Seng. See the way it has gone up, and now it is taking rest. I think Hang Seng has gone up too much too quickly. So I don't think there will be, the rise is halted for the time being. So that is as far as the Hong Kong is concerned. So therefore, what we can expect today is I'm expecting a good rally today. As I keep saying, by the BTFD, and BTFD, we will enter Bank Nifty. We are planning to trade on the Bank Nifty. There are opportunities there when Bank Nifty components like HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Kotak Bank, and Axis Bank are my favorites for the intraday trading. And I will look at also Reliance. Reliance looks very interesting, though it has fallen on the other day. It is good, and there's some pharma stocks may be interesting. So all this, as far as our mentees are concerned, and I am concerned for my portfolios. But whatever you do, I hope it is successful. Thank you for joining.